Welcome one and all to the Mudai Manga Book Club podcast. Today's episode 27, Family Love is Awkward, also farming. My name is Louie, and why is S always higher than A? Shouldn't it be Z next? I don't get it. I'm joined with my co-host.
I don't get it. You're the one who wrote that. For an English major, you could say I should have thought of a better title, but honestly, I was kind of cut off at the knee.
Tom! Oh, man.
You just got that?
I just got it.
Also, I just want to point this out. In the book, S isn't just higher than A, it's also higher than double A and triple A, which also exist.
But they're still A's.
But it
still doesn't make any sense.
A.
Okay, so for anyone who hasn't listened to us before and is very confused, typically...
Don't worry, everyone who's listened to us before is also very confused. That's not going to change.
You're not supposed to point that out. They're new here. So our first topic
the thing to not point out is that there's no old people here, because everyone's new.
Everyone's new, yeah. So for our first topic, once we get back on track, is
never gonna happen.
Things we've been listening to, things we've been reading, things we've been watching in the past week or so.
Yep.
That we think are cool and that we want to talk about them. And then our main topic this week is going to be a discussion on My Daughter Left the Nest and Returned an S-Rack Adventure, Volume 1 of the light novel, which is also Volume 1 and 2 of the manga, which is also episode 1 through 5-ish of the anime. But neither of us watched the anime, so we're going to skip that.
Yeah.
So, Tom, what have you been doing in the last week or so that you feel like talking about on this lovely podcast?
Oh, that I feel like talking about? Oh, absolutely nothing. But since that would be very boring.
Nothing is good. Everything's been terrible.
Everything is awful. Everything is bad when you're not on the team. But no. So, yeah, I've read a bit, as I say, every week, and then list out
yes.
dozen and a half books.
Bills and books, yeah.
So, a couple of short, easy ones that I can knock through really quick. So, remember how last week I read Survival in Another World with My Mistress, volumes 1 to 8 of the light novels?
Yes.
Yeah, I read the entire manga series this week. Just
okay.
Because I was like, oh, it's on sale. It was really fun. Let me just try this out. First thing I want to say, what the hell are you talking about when you say it's full of fan service? That's a lot further than fan service, Louie. I think you misunderstand the term. Definitely 17 plus.
Explicit not 8, shown. Yeah.
In book 1.
I only read book 1.
Yeah, having gotten to book 7, it gets real close.
But it doesn't cross the line.
In Japan,
17.
In Japan, yes. I still think it's hilarious. And I mean, that's exactly what the books are like, too. There's just, certain things are better shown visually than as written word, but it's not like it's any less raunchy or silly.
So now that you've read both versions...
Yeah.
Well, how do you think they compare?
So I think the biggest thing is if you are interested in the story and the characters and, the light novel is, decently written, and I think it's good. And I think it's, to go back to what I said last time, too, it very much feels like how a realist hero rebuilt the kingdom, except more war and more sex. And that translates over into what I think about with the manga, too. The manga is good. It does the whole story well, and it gives you some nice visual representation of some of the characters, including a couple who, have been there forever, and I had no idea what they look like. Now I can, because there's a picture of them, now I can visualize it very easily. Certain things it sort of condenses or just sort of brushes over, and it's just like, oh, yeah, this is happening because they said it was going to happen. Whereas in the book, it was like there was an actual discussion where they talked about it, and they, well, I think this, or I think that, and then it's just like, oh, okay, yeah, here's the decision being made. It carries over most of the humor. It carries over most of the plot.
Okay.
I think the novels do a little bit better job of explaining certain things and giving you a better sense of the world, but...
Yeah, I can see that.
The manga's good. It's definitely good. I enjoyed it. I just reread the whole series through that. I was like, yeah, it's great. I'm fine with it.
So there's how many?
There's 7 manga available in English. There are 8 light novels. The manga gets up to, I think, they've just started book 4 at late book 3, very beginning of book 4 in volume 7. So they're slowly running further and further behind. 2 volumes is 1 novel. They're slowly falling behind on that, but
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
they're falling behind trying to like tell the story well. So
Okay.
I don't mind it. This is a scene that happens in dialogue. We just have to like have it get talked out, or like this is a cool battle we're gonna do. We're just gonna have it. So
they're not trying to move through the story that quickly compared to the light.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're doing it the right way. They're doing it the best way they
Good.
can. And if you don't want
Taking
to
their
read the
time.
books,
Okay.
but you want to, the story sounds interesting, the manga is definitely worth it. 17 older
Nice.
only.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not for young kids.
No. No. But speaking of things that you said and then I said I was eventually going to read, I also finished books 2 through 5 of Soara and the House of Monsters, which is
See,
all
now
of the
you're ahead
ones
of me
available in
again.
English. Yes, I am. And I am mixed on this now, but that requires explanation.
Okay.
So it is good. It is very good. It's funny. It's interesting. The characters are really unique. I really like it. Book 2, the second half of the story with the mermaid and the Thunderwolf, fantastic. So adorable.
Good.
Love it. Everything's great. And the stories that come up from that afterwards, when they get to the Demon Lord's castle and all those things, also really great. And there's now a plot beyond just we go around and make houses.
Yeah. I think after the first book, it kind of had to have a plot because otherwise it's just monster build house over and over again, and that would get old after a while.
I think they could have done it where it's about Soara learning to deal with monsters and all of her sense and like growing family, and then have been more of like a slice of life kind of adventure.
Yeah.
But that would have meant that the dwarves didn't have nearly as much personality as they're going to have. And they can still do that
True.
too. They could have done it, but they've gone into something more. I think my problem with it, and it's not bad, it's just books 4 and 5 are all about the dwarves' past. And so there's
okay. So it's a big...
no building. It's a huge flashback arc. And one of the 3 dwarf characters who is actually a human, not a dwarf at all, you still have no idea. Like, he shows up every once in a while, but you have no idea, like, why he's here now. There's a lot more, like, war and battle and things like that. And it's good, but it's kind of like, this isn't really what
It's not the kind of story you were looking for.
Yeah. I still think it's good, and it makes sense for the plot, which is they have to go and find the 3, not demon generals, but like uber monsters, and make them a house. And at the end of book 5, they get to the first one. And there's a whole bunch of reasons for that, and there's some interesting characters, and there's a bunch of really good stories in it. But 4 and 5, it veers very far into a different direction, and then finally comes back at the end of book 5. So I think book 6, if you want that house-making arc and weird designs and silliness, I'm hoping that's coming back in the next book. But be aware, book 4 and 5 kind of just go off somewhere else for a while. It's interesting, it's fun, it's good, but it's, I don't know.
Okay.
And it's not completely out of left field, and there are some great moments, like when they work with the cat siths. In book 3, they meet a family of cat siths who were running a restaurant, and they rebuild their restaurant. That's
nice.
like a 3-chapter arc, and it's really cute and silly and weird. When they do those stories, and even when they do the flashback, they're well told. The art's great. It's fun, but the flashback is like 2 full books going off on this huge tangent and coming back. So, I don't know. We'll see. Book 6, I think, comes back and does it as good as it's been doing. I think it'll be fine, but it wasn't what I was expecting.
Okay.
Then we get to this section. Okay. These will be nice and quick and short. Mono by Afro, the same person who did Laid Back Camp. This is another series that they've done about a bunch of high school girls in a photography club. It's done in a 4-koma manga style. It kind of feels like, hey, Laid Back Camp's really popular. Let's do another one, but about a photography club. And nope, I'm done.
Skip it.
It took work to get to. Like, the first third is funny and goofy and silly, and there's interesting characters. And then the second 2/3 kind of feels like they go on a road trip to visit the places from Laid Back Camp, because one of the characters is a manga artist. And this is around the time, and so they start visiting, because like she's made a comic about people camping. Oh, gee, I wonder what that could be referring to. And the 4-koma vertical comic strip style, usually like, oh, well, every like 4 panels is like a little joke or a little story, and it's not.
Yeah.
There's no joke. There's just like, oh, we went to the store. Ah, okay, I bought something. Next set of 4. It has its humor, and it has its bits, but it's really not that funny, and it's really not that interesting, and the art is as good as Afro can do, but because they're in those little squares most of the time, there are some big like half-page spreads where they'll do like a landscape or something, and that's really good, but it's just kind of and there's no chapter markers, so I don't even know if this just came out as a single book or there's just no marks between chapters.
So I've read another book like this, and it seemed like style-wise books that are the 4 panels don't really have chapters.
Yes.
It's just, here's 4 panels, and that each one is just its own story.
Yes. There's that, but there's clearly like a sentence almost in terms of what happens in the 4 panels. But there's not enough, oh, this happens, and then the next 4, this next thing happens. It's like, this thing starts to happen, next 4 panel, this thing continues to happen, next 4 panels, this thing really continues to happen, next 4 panels, this thing has happened. Okay. It feels like it's not comic strippy enough where it's like, oh yeah, here's a discrete chunk to read. It feels like it should have just been made as like a normal comic, but it wasn't. I don't know. It's fine. It's fine. That's all I'm going to say. I'm probably never getting the next one because I had to sit and force myself to read like the last third of it because it's just like, it's okay. Like the art's great. Afro does good stuff. I just feel like the style isn't helping. It's not written to match that 4-panel style. And like the beginning, there's like these specific characters, but then once they all show up, they just go traveling. They're not taking photos anymore. They're just like, okay, we go to the next place, then we go to the next place, then we go to the next place. And it's like, oh, okay. That's like 2/3 of the book though. Like why? I don't know. It just does not grab me. If you really like Afro, there is some nice art in it, but I'm going to pass on that probably ever again. My Quiet Blacksmith Life in Another World, Volume 11 just came out. It's fine. I like this series better, so there's that.
Better than what?
Than Mono. Mono, I don't think I'll ever get Volume 2. I'll keep getting Quiet Blacksmith Life. Mono, I don't think I'll ever get Volume 2 unless someone gives it for free or someone tells me there's something really cool coming up. But Blacksmith Life, I've been reading for a while. I've read 11 books now, and they're fine. But it's not, to me, it's not special. It's just like, oh, yeah, okay. Person gets isekai to another world, they get blacksmithing skills. This one, kind of a follow-up to the last one.
I would assume, since it's book 11.
Well, like, book 10 was kind of the first of a 2-parter, and book 11 is the other half of the 2-parter, but not exactly. They're kind of like it's kind of a loose 2-parter. This one is about people forging stuff. Is similar to what he makes. And he ends up working with Orichalcum, this super magic metal. And it's nice. There's some interesting setup for things maybe coming up, but it's very samey. And it has been for a while. This is better than I think 9 and 10 have been, but I'm not super enthused with it. But it was fine. It was fine. There's nothing inherently wrong with it. Probably better than 10 if you were to ask me. Stuff actually happens a little, but that's all I have to say about it.
So, finally, by volume 11, do you think it's becoming too generic? Or is it still very much, it's... Okay, you answered my question.
Yeah, it's becoming too generic. It's becoming too much of a... And it's not that it's generic and that, oh, this is something else. It's becoming too much of... The stakes and the challenges are so obviously just going to be solved. Before they even show up, you already just know. It's just like, okay, oh no, this book he's going to be told about some new thing he has to make. And he's going to have to try really hard. And then in a chapter and a half, he'll have figured it out and it'll all be solved and everything will be great. The book itself is too much like itself for the new one to be interesting. What's book 12 going to be about? He's going to get some new kind of metal, probably, and have to forge with that. And he'll figure it out, and then also other stuff will happen. While there are interesting things that show up, they're always the same kind of thing. Someone shows up who wants a weapon, or something dangerous shows up and they have to deal with it. And that's it. It definitely feels that light novel this is just an easy read. I'm just gonna like turn my brain off and just get through it. But
okay, so you think it's more like this is a beginner level light novel? Like if you've never read a light novel, start with this one because it's easy to read. It's not gonna hurt your brain. It's very much more a not a run of the mill, a more formulaic kind of light novel series.
On the one hand, yes, but on the other hand, there's still better formulaic series.
Okay.
Like, I feel like if I was, and I barely even read, I haven't even finished the whole of the first book, but I feel like, hey, you want a lighthearted, easy reading? Okay, go get Konosuba. Go get the really, really humorous, silly ones. Go get that
is true.
and just read that instead. This is...
It takes itself more serious. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's not bad, and I do think there are good parts to it, and there are interesting characters. I just think, you know how here's what I would say, is it feels like television from the 90s, where every time the same general framework of events happens, and we're going to get that same thing again. It's like the Monster of the Week shows, the Situation of the Week shows. And it's every week it's going to be the same thing. Like every book, it's the same. It's not the same exact thing, but it's that same feeling of, okay, here we go. Okay, we're going to Blacksmith for a while. Okay, we're going to talk about this. Okay, we're going to watch stuff happen. Okay, somewhat dangerous thing is going to show up. Okay, we're going to mostly deal with it. Every once in a while, there have been books like when he goes to the Empire and has to rescue one of his old customers. That's a great book. But now it's just sort of like, yep, we're in the woods. Yep, we're going to make something. Yep, we made the thing. Yep, dangerous thing happened. Yep, we survived dangerous thing. Okay, end of book. Okay.
Yeah. Like,
it's becoming more formulaic.
Yeah. Because you need in-betweens. Like, okay, you have a really cool arc that you're finishing up, so you take a break with one book to just kind of reset everything, make sure we're not going crazy. Yeah. But then you need to start something else. You can't just keep doing the quiet life. Oh, you could do that, but that's the kind of book it has to be.
Yeah. And I think this is a series where it does best when he has the quiet life, but he decides that he has to go and do something and give up some of that for a time. Like when he decides to go and help the person in the Empire, when he decides to go and do something, then it's interesting because it's like he can just stay there forever if he wants. But him making that choice, I think, was part of it. And again, like I've been saying, the last couple of books haven't really grabbed me that much, and this is probably, of the last three, my favorite.
Okay.
This one was the most interesting with the fakes, and the big dangerous thing that happened was not what you expected it to be and didn't end how you expected it to be. And there is stuff set up for the next book that could be interesting. Maybe, if it's not just background that was like, kind of know what was going on with the dangerous thing after it's over. And it could just be like, yep, it was that, and they've taken care of it. Or it could be, that happened, hey, we're going to talk more about it, we're going to get more into it. So we'll see. But that's fine.
Okay.
After that, and the last one of this slightly disappointing middle section, Cozy Life in the Woods with the White Witch, volumes 1 and 2, which is both volumes that exist. This is actually MOJIKAKIYA's next series after My Daughter Left the Nest and Returned a Nest Rank Adventurer.
Okay,
there are only 2 books.
This looks familiar.
Yep. It's about an adventurer who he doesn't quite get kicked out of his party, but like the party's structure gets rearranged and he loses his job because he hasn't really been adventuring. He's been taking care of their equipment and their stuff at home while they go on adventures.
Like their manager?
Yeah, kind of like that. And he gets replaced. And so the greatest adventurer, the White Witch, basically hires him. Turns out, surprise, it's actually a teenage girl, not a giant scary person. But also she does nothing at home, so like her house is full of trash. And he spends the first quarter of the book just cleaning the house and doing that. So he basically becomes like a housekeeper for her.
Okay.
So My Daughter Left the Nest and Returned a Nest Rank Adventure is one of my favorite books from last year. I think it was my number 5 as a series. This is not that. I think we'll talk about it more later when we get to that, but it's trying to be cozy slice of life with adventurers, but it's just too... This one, I think, is actually just too formulaic. The super powerful adventurer and the guy who can't really do stuff. who cleans up the house. And oh, hey, she has 3 familiars. And oh, hey, they're all actually girls. And oh, hey, they're all actually the next 3 obvious female lead character types that you would expect in any series who now show up. Oh, hey, he tames them all with food. Oh, hey, there's this going on in the background. Oh, hey, thing happens with his old party and they try to make up for what's happened.
Yeah. Okay.
There's definitely good moments. Again, it's fine. It's not bad. And I enjoyed it. Of this mushy middle, this is probably the ones I like the most. I wouldn't mind a third or a fourth, because there are some neat adventures and there are some like fun things, but it's kind of just, it's fine. It's good. It's a nice, cute little story, but nothing jumped out at me as super special. Okay. Next couple ones, we can go through a little bit quicker. Kagurabachi Volume 1, Magical Samurai Swords.
Oh, yeah.
For reasons, I'm not going to talk too much about it. I think it's fine. I think it's fun. It's distinct. It's weird. It does not explain its world at all, and it's very confusing for the first half. But I kind of like the action. I think it'll be fun. I'm going to eventually read more of it. There may be something coming up in the future that I can't talk about with this on this show about this, which is why I'm not going to talk about it more. But I think it was good. I don't know if you have anything you want to say about it.
I've read it as it comes out because I read the Shonen app, and this is one of the ones that comes out with the big Shonen on the weekends with One Piece. And I wasn't sure about it at the beginning as I was reading it, and I have since dropped it. It's just not one that I'm that interested in. I found that it's one of those, I read it, it's fine, but I found that so much wasn't explained that I'm like, this just seems like we're just running from one craziness to the other, and it's like, okay, I'm not that interested. The art's really good, but the story didn't really hook me.
The art's very good, and I agree with everything you've just said. I think, because I haven't been reading as much just bog standard anime action series, it's like, oh, this is refreshing and different.
That's
true. I haven't seen this for a while. Because it doesn't feel that unique, like, when I sit and think about it. It's like, I haven't read something like this in a while. Let me read this. And it's like, it's fun. But it definitely says, like, hey, there's magic and sorcery, and there was a war, and then it tells you nothing.
Yep.
And it just goes on, and it feels like it's trying to be mysterious, where even though it's obvious exactly what happened, it was a war, and there are magic katanas and sorcerers. It's like, okay, that's not mysterious. You're not Five Nights at Freddy's. You can just tell us. You don't have to try and like pretend like there's something cool here that we don't know about yet.
Don't worry. But I don't think it's explained for a while.
But I thought it was fine, and I do like the art, and I do like the battles, so it's like, okay, I'm reading that.
And I think when it came out, it was also taking the place of some other ones that had just ended that were really popular, so this one kind of exploded in popularity at the beginning, because like people wanted something like this again.
Gotcha. That could make sense, yeah.
So it was super popular when it first came out. I think it's lost some of that.
I think it has the possibility to be really good if it got better, but I could see it just being like, oh, it's just CSI New York. CSI Miami and CSI were super popular. Let's make one in New York. It's like, okay, yeah, it exists. Sure.
So I think the problem that I had with it was that the katanas were actually the more boring part of the series. The magic that the people used was more interesting, I felt. It's like, okay, the katanas, you see the same one over and over again because that's the one he uses.
Yeah, I could see that too.
But the magic is like, it's all different. Everyone uses it differently. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's fine.
Yep, it's fine.
I'll leave it at that.
It's definitely fine. Like, again, it's out of the mushy middle, so it's like, I think it's good. But I don't know if it's great. But you want to know what is great? Something really stupid. An Ordinary Guy is Reincarnated as a Total Fantasy Knockout, Volume 7. Yay, stupid, dumb series. Oh my god. So this is a story of, hey, isekai'd into another world. But a bunch of people were. And so one guy is isekai'd with his best friend by the goddess of love and is turned into a girl. And his super equipment is his friend, who was like super popular with women. And
this is familiar.
Like,
it
is so dumb and so funny. I am not going to explain anything other than the following 3 things happen in this book. Guy friend and demon lord were going to have a fight, but instead they have an arm wrestling contest in a bar. And it has like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure level aura, and as they're arm wrestling, and like their arm, like when one of them like pushes his arm a little bit, it causes a massive explosion and blows out one half of the building. Then the other guy pushes back a little bit, and that blows out the other half of the building. Like everything just keeps getting blown away by their like as they're just arm wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
And the woman who owns the bar is just like, no, my bar. No, my bar. The way it ends is hilarious, but I won't spoil that. Okay, so that's one part. Second part, they go into a dungeon, and the entire part of it is it's literally Takeshi's Castle, Wipeout, comedy.
Okay. Obstacle course.
Yeah, like comedy obstacle course thing. That's all it is. For a while, it's just like
funny.
random thing, and it ends with like do the silly pose to go to the wall, and like the main guy is like, I refuse to do a silly pose, so he just has a fight with a wall. But it ends with the ultimate battle where the main male character and another character, they literally have to fight by being more main character so that the universe focuses on them. Literally, that's what they have to do. And our like hero male character starting to lose, and he realizes, I know what I can do. And he rips his shirt off and takes his glasses off and messes with his hair and like becomes this like completely different looking person and just poses for an entire chapter. And as he's doing this, things are just exploding. This is so funny. So this is an absolutely, completely ridiculous, but mid to early teens level like ratings, but silly comedy adventure. And it just continues to be silly. It's so much fun. I adore this series. It's just great. And this one is less romantic hijinks and weird characters and more just absolutely stupid things happening. It's so good. So there's that.
Nice.
Minor thing, I'm not going to spend too long on it because I actually read something that's not Japanese. I read The Fire Next Time by James Baldwin.
I don't know this.
James Baldwin is an African-American author from the most famous for, what was it? Go Tell It on the Mountains in the 50s. But this is just a pair of letters where it's basically this American writer talking about race and love and hate in the U.S., having lived through the 1930s, the 1940s, the 1950s, the 1960s. Not gonna bring up why that might be something to think about right now in the United States. But it's not long. It's very dense, but I feel like I got a lot out of it. And a big conceit of this, of the second part, the main part of it, is love and hate are going to be the kinds of thing that people who have gone through living in this country will have to deal with. And hate will get you what you want, but it won't let you enjoy it. Whereas love won't let you fix the problems that are going on, but without that, you won't enjoy life. And that's a poorly explained reading of just one part of this. I cannot do it justice in a few minutes, but if you are interested in people and the history of America and race relations and all of those things, this is honestly probably one of the best things I read this week. Right up there with Ordinary Guy Reincarnated as a Total Fantasy Knockout.
Yeah.
And Surviving in Another World with My Mistress. And James Baldwin, The Fire Next Time.
They're about the same, right? Same level.
As someone who was a lit major and like used to read things like this a lot more often, it was nice to get back to it. And I just heard it at random. Someone's like, oh, you should check this out. And I literally could not put it down. It's like 110 pages. It's very short, but it's like for something written about Black life in the 1950s and 1940s and deep thought about what and why and how to deal with that. That feels like the kind of thing we should maybe be thinking about again right now for no reason that I'm going to say on this recording. For other reasons. Yeah. When I saw the name and I saw the names of the novels he's written, it's like, I know I've heard of this person. He's a very, very famous author, but I had never read anything by him. But this is just 2 of his letters, and it's very powerful, very moving, and very, very well written stuff. So really cool.
I'll have to check it out.
And then finally, and you may have something to say on this, Odor and the Flame, 12 and 13.
Yep.
It's really
Yes.
good. We beat the first Ice General. Other Ice General shows up. And then the hero shows up. And Odor continues to do the Odor thing of having smash final blow as like an entire page and being the most
Yes.
badass art in the series. That's the Odor thing. To me, that's what Odor is every once in a while there'll be a chapter and there'll just be one punch or kick or strike that's just an entire page, and it's like, yeah,
Over the top, yeah. It's like,
yeah,
this is gonna hurt.
So good. 12 and
Yeah.
13 is great. Finishing the Forge arc, dealing with the
Yep.
Ice General who's defeated, and some other new stuff to come up. So I'm loving it. Creepy and freaky. 17 and 19. Oh god, they're weird.
Yes.
Oh god, there's now a plot, but I don't get it. But it's weird.
There's now
an
enemy. But
Yes.
I was reading about it. I was reading the comments like, wait, who is the bad guy?
I know.
Because they don't actually say who's the bad person. It's
Well,
like, is the rabbit the
Chapter
bad?
19.
Or is the cat the
There's
bad?
the rabbit and the cat girl, and they like actually have. There's an actual battle.
Yeah.
That then a box gets damaged and that opens up and tells a story, which is a messed up story.
Is that the
Hey,
one
guess
with
what?
the guy who fuses?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, by the way, Creepy and the Freaky, you're going to think that some people have died. And then you're going to
yes.
find out they didn't die. And you're going to be real sad that they didn't die because it was so much more comfortable when they were just dead.
Yeah, it's like, oh,
It's like,
that
no,
story's
they survived.
over. Yeah.
Oh no. But the rabbit is like the rabbit in like some of those panels when he's like doing his like crazy evil face. Creepiest freaking thing.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
That's
It's so good.
Those are like the best pieces. Like, oh yeah, this is something's going on. Because normally it's just like the
so
happy-go-lucky
weird.
kind of pictures, and then you get the really, really creepy ones. Like, oh yeah, this is why we're reading this. It's like,
Yeah.
this is the creepy part.
Imagine a comical U-shaped rabbit whose face can be drawn in about 10 lines, then made into one of the most nightmare fuel-inducing little characters without changing anything except adding a few more lines, I guess.
Yeah.
I guess. I don't know how to
That's all it
describe
takes.
what he became.
It's just extra detailed now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
that's
I don't know if you.
It's still
I
really
don't know if
good.
you had anything you wanted to add after, but Creepy and the Freaky, as someone again who does not like reading horror, it's just really creepy, really creepy. And 17 and 18. 17 was the
yeah, what was 17?
thing, the bug that eats your memories.
Oh yeah.
I
Yep.
think. And
Yeah, or you can't see it,
18 was,
but then you forget things.
yeah. Oh no, 18 was that, and then 17 was... That was 18, with the bug that eats your memories.
Yep.
And then 17... Oh, 17 was the symbols. Symbols that just cause things to happen. And it's like, oh, this symbol started killing people. And it's like, all it did was make people oversleep. And it just... And it's like,
Yes.
oh. But like, the like weird tests they did. And it's like, oh god, this is kind of like messed... I don't like this.
That's one of the great things about this series. It's never like a horror series. It's just, as the title says, it's creepy and freaky. It's just the stories themselves are not scary, but the way they're portrayed and the way that they're told, it just makes it worse. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, that's. I don't want to think about this.
Yeah.
It's like, because they're not supposed to be scary stories. They're supposed to make you feel icky. No, they're really good. I'm glad that there's a story or like a series out there like this, because it's like, okay, because you read all these different genres and things, but then like the horror ones are really hard to do well, and this one does it really well. And it's not just the same author who did all the other scary ones. Who's the famous?
And it's also hard to do like, Junji Ito.
Yeah, it's not just another Junji Ito story. It's someone else.
Yeah. It's also like horror is really hard to do long form
Yes.
where it just like keeps going, and this does really interesting thing where every horror story is extremely short. So that works really well for horror. But it's part of this long series where these things are all kind of connected in weird ways. And things keep coming back. It finds this way to be like this series that feels like it could go on forever while also still doing horror really well. Because you just kind of don't know. And it's never just, oh, it has creepy art. Because the symbol one, there's like a couple of, seeing a person like struggling to breathe is like, okay, I guess that's a little weird. But it's just mostly just two people talking about a thing that happened. And it's like, oh, God, this is... Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, I wonder if it'll come out in... I wonder if Creepy and Unthinkable will come out in bundle like books or not.
Oh, I absolutely believe it will.
I hope it does.
Oh my goodness, it's so good. It deserves it, and I think it will. It's absolutely worth it. I think it's fantastic.
Yeah.
What about you? What have you been up to? What have you been reading? What have you been doing?
Okay, I got a few. So I'll start with, I read Deadrock, Volume 3. This is the Hiro Mashima next book after finishing Eden Zero.
Yep.
It's one of those... So, you've read Eden Zero, and you know how some of the storylines are dark? The themes and things like that are dark. This is trying to be a dark fantasy, but the only darkness they do is just killing people.
Okay, yeah. Dark.
Yeah, it's very much a surface level kind of darkness. So main characters do get killed, but it's very much still just an action kind of story. So if you like action-y kind of stories, this is fine. But I don't know if I'd call this a dark fantasy, because it's really not dark.
Yeah.
The themes aren't dark. The art's cool. The fights are cool. The story's interesting, but it's very much just another kind of different version of Fairy Tail or Eden Zero, just in a whole new setting.
Yeah.
But it's good.
Okay.
It's done a little longer because they're monthlies, so the chapters are a little longer. But
cool.
Yeah.
I think Eden Zero worked well when it did dark things because it was so optimistic all the time that when things went, when you saw things go wrong, it's like, oh, that's real bad.
Yeah.
I feel like this is starting off of already like, ooh, we're so gritty and spooky. And it's just like, okay, you're not gonna pull a Berserk. You're not gonna pull an Eden. It's an Endless World.
No.
You're not gonna have torture. You're not gonna have anything like that. Like, oh no, someone died. Okay, moving on.
Yeah, it's like...
Having not read it, that's what it sounds like you're describing.
Yeah, it's trying to be dark, but it's still very much the same kind of storytelling. But it's not... It's dark as in, hey, we're all trying to be evil. It's like, okay, but everyone's trying to be evil, so everyone's about the same. Everyone's not a great person, so everyone's not a great person. There's no regular people. It's just everyone is trying to be evil, so no one's evil, because we're all the same.
Yeah. You have to get really dark if you're not going to have light.
Yeah, but even then, you still have to have... You still have to have some light, so you have some contrast. Like, oh, this is really good, these people are really nice. Darkness come along and devours them, or something like that. You have to have something that makes you say, that was bad. But killing a character who isn't good...
Yeah, it's not that.
Yeah, it's not that.
I think when you look at things like Berserk, it's like, okay, there's really not that much light in it. Pretty much everything is dark. But it works because it's so dark that it's just your natural sense of what's normal and good is sort of being pushed with it. Whereas this, it's like, oh no, somebody was killed.
Yeah, and it's not a character you really knew that well either. So it's like, okay, yeah, he was in the group, now he's dead. Yeah. We just learned his backstory.
Womp womp.
Moving on. It's like, and everyone already forgot about him.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
But, yeah, like, the story itself is interesting about what they're trying to do, but it's trying too hard to be dark. So it's kind of like, I'm going to skip I care about some of these characters. And it's just like a fun action story to read. And then I read the 4th book of Elden Ring. So this finishes the Raya Lucaria school. And
Yep. Magic school.
So he's there to get the Great Rune, from the what's her name?
Headmaster.
The headmaster,
Whatever her name is.
So it's not done the same way as Godric was. which was hilarious. This one is a little different, where he actually has a duel, not with the headmistress, but with one of the guards, which is commentated by a bunch of people, which is hilarious.
Okay.
So the main character turns out to be actually fairly strong by the end of this. He starts using skills and things like that, and he actually defeats the person legitimately, which everyone was surprised by. But, so the way they treat the headmistress is that she's actually, so if anyone's played Elden Ring, you know that fight is, you fight her, but there's also all these people crawling on the ground who are students, I believe.
Yep.
It's treated more like she's taking care of a daycare, and all the kids are just running around. She's trying to collect them all, and they're all messing things up. So it's hilarious because they're stacking books everywhere. It's like, don't stack books, and then they're throwing things, and it's like it's really good. It's really funny.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. And then after that, it goes back to the round table with some more crazy shenanigans going on there. You get spirit tuning, which he learns how to do, which is the idea of summoning things. Which he kind of already did.
Yep.
Because he had the dogs, but now he has the person who will teach him things. And then
the woman who will do it. Yep.
So then they go in their first dungeon to get the spirit tuning weeds, the ones that will increase.
Yep.
And so he treats all goblins as cats and just catches them all and hugs them and pets them. And he runs into a million traps. But then, you've played it, but anyone who hasn't played it, at the end of these dungeons, there is a door you unlock, and once you go in, there's a giant statue that you typically have to fight. He thinks it's a dog, so he tries to play with the dog, and it's hilarious. And so eventually they do survive, and they go back, and it's just super fun. And then he meets the guy with the sewing kit. Is it Puck?
That sounds correct, yeah. Puck.
Yeah, he's like
the little
troll, the guy who hides in the bush.
Yeah.
So he's a character who you kind of don't have to find, but you can kind of randomly run into him. And he goes out. So they go through that whole quest, and he realizes that Puck's a weirdo. That he has very bad fashion sense. And because he made some hilarious clothing for one of the troll monsters that makes him covered in mushrooms.
Oh, God.
It's like, why would you do this? And then one of the other things in Elden Ring is you can get invaded.
Yep.
He learns about that. He actually gets invaded. And he meets the guy who has the big metal helmet.
Okay.
That has all the holes in it with a giant sword. And it's a huge funny interaction between the two of them because he thinks that the main character is an invader and goes after him as well, even though there's an invader there, and it's hilarious. And then it ends with going to the area, I like the southern tip where there's a bridge you have to cross. The Bridge of Sacrifice. It's...
Oh, yes, I actually remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, I forget what that area is called, though. It's in the first region, it's way south. But yeah, so that's going to be the next one with the woman who has the bandages around her eyes. Not the one who eats eyeballs. Different one. The other one, who I think is looking for her father.
Oh, yes. They're going to the little southern island.
Yes. Yeah. That's where they're headed to next.
Nice.
So it's good. The art's still awesome. It's hilarious. He has some really funny interactions with the people at the round table hold. It's still really funny. But he's not a weakling anymore. He's actually incredibly strong, which is also very hilarious.
I'm really wanting to read more of it because the first one was great, but it's like, oh, this feels like it's going to be this the whole time. And it seems like it's evolving and going all different directions while still being pretty Elden Ring, but a joke comedy the whole time.
Oh, yeah. So
which is amazing.
There's less slaps. Well, there's still some slapsticky kind of things, but that's more in the background. It's very much just him interacting with all these crazy people who are, if you played the game, everyone is super weird. And he treats them all like they're super weird. He's like, why would you do this? I was like, are you, what? Like the guy who has the thing, in the round table hold, there's a guy who will teach you like healing spells and things like that.
Oh, yeah.
Who's a faith kind of person who has the big wheel around his head.
Oh, yep.
So he grabs the wheel And yeah, he's like, starts twisting it because the guy's being super annoying. Yeah, it's funny. It's really funny. This is not a serious story, which I've said before, but it's a really good retelling of kind of the things you will see in Elden Ring. So if you're interested in Elden Ring, this is good.
In a way, yes. Yes.
And then I started watching Dan to Dan Season 2, so that's really good. I wasn't a huge fan of the new opening, but now that I've watched it a few times, like, yeah, this is pretty good. And it's gone a really good story of, because, so Season 2 starts with when they go to meet Gigi's house, and all of that with the big snake monster and the evil eye.
Yep.
And then it goes to, so once they do all that huge crazy battle, which is really good, they did a really good job of that. And I forgot that that's how Okurun defeated Gigi, with just doing squats over and over again really fast. It's done really well.
Okay, cool.
And then the next one is so you remember, they come up again later, but there's the music group who does the spirit songs.
Oh, yeah.
So they first show up right after this to get the evil eye out of Gigi, and they decide not to, but the song in it is so good. It's like a heavy metal rock song that they did for this 2-minute section of the episode, and it's amazing.
Okay.
And then just the hilarity of trying to not get Gigi wet, because he turns into evil eye if he gets splashed with cold water, and back to normal if he gets splashed with hot water. And it's so funny. Hey. So when they're explaining this to him, he is singing the original Rama 1/2 opening.
Yes!
In the background.
Yes!
So they're telling him how to do this, and he's just there singing the song. It's so funny. But you wouldn't know if you didn't know the opening of that episode of that anime at all. It's like, why is he singing that? Yeah. He's sitting there doing the tune of that song, of that show, and it's hilarious if you know why.
Yes.
It's so funny. It's like, are you paying attention?
That is... I still have not watched the first season.
Oh, it's so good.
I have seen a bunch of stuff where it's just, hey, here's a bunch of random Easter eggs in the series, and there's so many. I'm so glad that they're still doing stuff like that in the second season.
Oh yeah, the production value is awesome. This show is done so well. And then the last episode, so the next few episodes are them just trying to deal with Gigi doing this transition back and forth, and him trying to learn how to control it. And the last episode was when Okurun goes to the maid cafe. Oh, yeah. And yeah, so that's really funny when he meets her at the maid cafe because her friend dragged him along.
Is the season over? Or?
Nope. It's about halfway through, I think. Let's see. So season 2. Yeah, so this week was the 7th episode of season 2. So it's a little more than halfway through, probably, because the season 1 had 12 episodes. This is now 7.
Okay.
So the next episode is going to be about him learning music, because that's where this episode ended. Was going to
training.
Yeah, the training with the musical ghosts. Musician. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the next one.
Yeah, that'll be a fun one to watch.
Yeah.
That was a crazy battle in the manga.
Yeah. So that's really good.
Cool.
And then I read Mushoku Tensei volumes 12, 13, 14, and 15. These are so good. So 12 is the end of the huge arc that has happened for a long time. It is the end of the displacement arc where everyone got transported all over the world. This ends him finding all of his family. And I believe this is the book where the last season of the anime ended. So book 12 and before have all been animated. I don't know if the manga is caught up to that or not. So if you watch any of the anime, book 12 is pretty much the end that you've seen so far. They have said they're renewing it for a third season, which I believe starts in 2026. So this one is really good because it kind of is a culmination of everything and ends the story of all the displacement. Some good things happen. Some really bad things happen. He is pretty much... I don't want to say what happens, but it's really good. Okay. It kind of explains... So he goes to another part of the world to kind of meet up with his father and rescue his mom, who is the only person that they haven't found from his family. Yeah. So they figure out where she is. They just haven't found her by the end of book 11. So in book 12, he goes to help them rescue her. And it's really good.
Okay.
Book 13 is the fallout of everything that happened in book 12. And he goes back to his house at the Magic City. Well, not Magic City. I forget what it's called. But he goes back home with his wife, his second wife, his two sisters, and some other people, which I can't say because it'll spoil what happens at the end of book 12.
Okay. Fair enough.
Which you will, if you look at the cover, will already spoil it.
Got it. Okay. Not looking for a couple weeks,
so
I forget about this.
13 is very much some crazy stuff happened. It's going to be we're just going to relax. It's more of we're going to kind of clean up all the storylines that have been going on. Very much a down-to-earth, chill book. Okay. The next book is when the next big arc kind of starts to take off. This is where you learn about... So there's multiple races in the world, and then there's also multiple superpowers. And by superpowers, I mean individuals who are so strong they're considered not godlike, but they're a god of their craft. So there's like the technique god who knows every technique imaginable for fighting. There's the dragon god who is the most powerful of the dragon race. There is the fighting god. There is multiple god people, but they're just they're not gods. They're just so strong. They're godlike compared to a normal person. Okay. And then they are ranked 1 through 7. And then there are shrines about them all over the world, so people know who the most powerful people are. It's just been around for forever, and it's just like, someone put these together and threw them everywhere. Yes. Always know that these people are the best. So he meets one of them again, and some stuff happens. This is very much a very heavy lore book. Like, you learn more about what's going on in the world, what kind of more history related. You meet some characters from the past. You meet some new ones. So this is very much a setup book to know this is where the story's going to go next. And then in the next book, in 15, this is when the next big arc starts, where he goes and fights one of those 7. Because now this starts the man god. I don't know if it's called the man god arc, but this is now the man god, who is an actual god, who is the god of this world. Because this is the world of men, and he is the god of the world of men. But he's trying to do something that no one can figure out, and there are people against them. And the man god has showed up in a bunch of the previous books. He's kind of told Rudius, hey, I got some advice on what to do next, and things like that. Do this, do that. And this is kind of when some stuff happens, and he kind of starts to question everything about the man god. And the only thing I don't like about this book is that... So there's a huge fight that happens, and the build-up very much feels like... So I want to preface this. So Rudy, the main character, is strong. He's not overpowered like other isekais, where it's like, I am now the best person on the planet because I have my cell phone and now I could do bazillion damage in one hit. He is powerful compared to many, many other people, but he is definitely not the strongest, and the strongest are head and shoulders above him. He's good, but he's not amazing, unlike other books, which is like, he's immediately the best. It's like, no, he is definitely not even close to the best, but he has to try to fight one of these people, and he creates a machine to help him do this. And it feels like this completely kind of... It didn't change it that much, but it's like, and we're going to kind of shift it into kind of a different genre, and then we're going to shift it back. Okay. And some other characters from the past. So Eris shows up again after this long time. You learn more about what she's been doing this whole time. And it's a crazy fight at the end. And it's awesome, but I wasn't sure about where the book was at the beginning because of what he was trying to make. It's like, this is going to change how the story goes. I knew it didn't because I know I've seen stuff from what happens later. And it's like, that's not a thing. The beginning of the book is kind of like, are we becoming a very more overpowered isekai now? It's like, nope. He's still just not good compared to everyone else. He's good, but he's not, I am a walking god because I have been isekai'd. But it's really good. This is very much setting up. This is going to be craziness going forward of trying to figure out how do you stop a god who can see into the future.
Yeah, okay, that would be hard.
Yeah. There's a way to do it.
Cool.
But yeah, it's complicated. But it's really good.
You don't say.
Yeah, it's really
nice.
Good. I've already started the next one.
That's good.
But I haven't finished it yet.
Cool.
And then I also read My Daughter Left the Nest and Returned as an S-Rank Adventurer Manga Volume 1 and 2, which we will talk about very soon.
Never heard of it.
Yeah, never heard of it.
Never heard of it. No idea what you're talking about.
Mm.
Oh, wait, no. That's what's coming up in today's big review. Woo. But before we get to that, hey, if you have anything you want to let us know, what you've been up to, what you've been reading, or you got any comments on us, on what we've been talking about, you want to tell me how Mono is the greatest thing that's ever been created. I don't believe you, but you can say it. Feel free to pop a comment, send an email. Mm-hmm. Let us know. We'd love to hear from you.
If you have any suggestions about what we should check out, always looking for more ideas, because there's so many stories out there. It's crazy.
So for today's main topic, we're going to be talking about My Daughter Left the Nest and Returned an S-Rank Adventurer by MOJIKAKIYA. We're going to be covering Volume 1 of the light novel, or Volumes 1 and 2 of the manga. There is also an anime. Don't know exactly how many episodes this will be, but I believe it's like the first 3 or 4. The anime covers about the first 4 books. I'm not exactly sure, but it does exist. It's out there.
Yep.
But
it does exist.
I've read the light novel. Louie, you've read the manga as of this week.
Yep.
But yes. I've read the light novel, and I will admit the reason I decided to pick this one for this week was literally I looked back at my list of what was my favorite things from last year, and I was like, we haven't covered this one yet. We need to talk about it now, because I don't want to not.
Yep, it's good.
The only one that I'm not covering from that list is Cypher Academy, because I don't know how to explain that as a audio
Yeah,
show.
that one would be tough.
Yeah. I think if we sat and like talked about how the puzzles themselves work, that might be interesting, but this is just a really good story.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And I will be honest on this. I've reread it like I always do, and I try to sit and think about what I want to talk about, what I want to say, and I've been thinking about it all week, and I still have absolutely no idea. So there may be a bit more rambling than normal on this, or maybe not. But I'm going to preface it with my usual thing of, I do really like this. I think it's a great series. Mm-hmm. I really enjoy it. I know you've only read this part so far. I've actually finished the whole series. There's a shift. It's not a huge shift in sort of the tone or the level of adventure that happens, but the first 3 books and most of book 4 are very different from what happens in the rest of the series, because it goes from a story about the 2 main characters, Belgrieve and his daughter Angeline, her being the adventurer and trying to get back to visit him in their hometown of Tuneria as often as possible. And from book 5 onward, it goes into a lot more of who Belle was, and they go on a big adventure out into the world to see his old adventuring buddies and what's happened to them, and try to all these other things that come up. But it does it really well. That's not really a thing that's going to come up in these first couple of books, and definitely not this first book. There's very little of that. I think the one thing I would say is, having reread it again, I still really enjoyed it, but it is much more, I wouldn't say boring, but a lot less happens in this book than happens in in many of the other books.
Okay.
Because I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing, especially for this part of the story. And most of the story. The story is not about the adventures. It's about Belgrieve and Angeline and the other people who they meet over time, all trying to live their own lives.
Okay.
Is there anything you wanted to put out there before we dive into it? Anything you wanted to say?
Nope. I've only read the first 2 of the manga. It's interesting. I would like to see where it goes next. So, who are these crazy characters?
So, the main characters I just mentioned, we have Belgrieve, who's about 40 years old at this point, at the current day in the story. There is a lot of flashbacks and jumping around in time.
Yes.
We'll talk about, because it will jump back to when before when Belgrieve got home, or when he was an adventurer, or when Angeline was a child, things like that. But at the time of the present day in the story, he's around 40 years old. He was an adventurer. Hey, medieval fantasy world. There are adventurers, there are monsters called fiends and all that. He was an E rank, the lowest rank, and his leg got bitten off, and he went home in disgrace, because it's hard to be an adventurer without a leg. And that was about 20 to 25 years ago.
Yep.
And then Angeline, at this point in the story, is 17. And Angeline, so in the opening, the prologue, and prologue 2, Electric Paloogaloo, the first one talks about Belgrieve 17 years ago. You have an idea where this is going. He's wandering around in the woods near the town doing some patrols, and he hears a baby crying and finds an infant child in a basket in the middle of the woods, no one around, no footsteps, just is there in the mountains. He ends up taking the baby in, names her Angeline, and she becomes his daughter.
And one of the things he points out when he finds her is that she wasn't neglected or things like that. She was put in a basket and protected from monsters. And in the first book, it doesn't really go into why she was there. I don't know if that's done later or not, but he finds her safe and takes her home. So is that explained more in later books?
Why she gets there, I can sum it up like this. That's spoilers. Like, me telling you whether or not it's explained itself is spoilers.
I figured, because it seems very important.
So the things that you do learn about it is, like you said, it's not just, she wasn't just abandoned there. She was in a basket, wrapped carefully with these certain vines that will keep monsters away and all of these other things, but then abandoned in the middle of the mountain. And they don't talk about it too much, but they do mention, like, there's no footprints, there's nobody else around. Belgrieve has been the only one out here. He doesn't have special superpowers, but he's been an adventurer. He's worked these mountains for years. He teaches people how to go around these mountains and protects his village. And he doesn't sense anything nearby. Just this baby is here.
Yep.
Prologue 2, the next big event, which is Angeline at 12 years old and Belgrieve are living at home, and it's the day before Angeline goes off to become an adventurer. And there's a lot of this, and we're not going to go super into detail on all of it, but this really is a story of a father and daughter and family and them, how they act together and how they interact and what they care about and what life has done. And you get to watch them be family. This is the first big part of it, but you'll see bits and pieces all throughout as well. And there are a lot of random small scenes and short stories and things that will show up where you'll see Angeline as a child and Belgrieve as a father off doing things and being together, and him teaching her things, living in this small village, doing all sorts of just basic stuff, sorting beans, planting potatoes, carding wool, and all sorts of other things. So that's the opening. I don't want to spend a ton of time just talking through the story, because a lot of it is just the hilarity of Angeline really missing going home and being extremely weird about it. That's the wrong way to put that. Let's not put that way.
That's not...
Angeline,
I wouldn't put it as weird. So she has been adventuring since she's been 12. So she's slowly been working up the ranks, and you find out as time goes on, she's been sending letters back to her dad constantly. But she hasn't actually seen him again for 5 years. And where the story starts, like the present day starts, is she's supposed to go home on vacation to see him again because it's been so long. She's like, I want to go home. I want to see my dad. Yeah. And then the world just says no. Over and over again.
First it's a wyvern. Then it's giant ants. Then it's... I don't even remember. It's something else shows up. And over and over and over again. Oh, no, I know what the next one is. And we'll actually talk about the next one, because that's a big plot point. But every time she gets, okay, I'm going to go. Oh, wait, no, we need you right now. You have to come stop this crazy thing that's going on.
Because she is S-ranked adventurer, so she's really important. But because she's so strong, none of the other adventurers can really keep up with her. So if something big happens, like, we kind of need your help or people are going to get hurt. And she's like, fine. But yeah.
And this is going to be for her half of the book, which I think is another thing important to mention, is that this book is kind of split half and half between following Belgrieve or Bell and his adventures in Tuneria, their hometown, and Angeline or Angie and her adventures in Orphen, the town where she works out of. And
which is more like a city.
Yeah, it's more like a city. It's not like the capital. It's like a sizable city, not the biggest, not the smallest, not the most important, not the least important, but like a big city for a medieval fantasy magic world. And Angie is a swordsman at heart. I don't think she can do any magic.
No.
Although she can manipulate power through her sword a little bit.
Yeah.
That's what she does.
But she also works as a team.
Yes.
She has a team that helps her.
She does now.
True.
Because I believe, if I remember correctly, they started working together in like the last 6 months. They literally don't know anything about each other's past at the start of this book.
Yeah.
The two team members, you have Anessa the archer and Miriam the mage. I guess we'll just cover it now because it's some of the small things. It becomes important, but it's not yet. Anessa and Miriam are both orphans. Mm-hmm. And Angie knows that she's kind of an orphan, that she was just found in the woods. Belle didn't hide any of that from her, but to her, basically, Belle is her father. Anessa and Miriam were both orphans. Miriam the mage is also a cat demi-human, so she hides her cat ears under her hat and her tail inside of her cloak, because demi-humans...
Yeah, it doesn't really come up much.
It's not super fantasy racism. It's I just don't want it to be known, because there are people who don't like it, who don't like demi-humans, and who will not respect her for that. But it doesn't come up much in this book. It's just mentioned and it's a thing.
Yep.
That's the beginning. That's how it starts. And as for Belgrieve, he's, like I said earlier, he went to become an adventurer and came back in disgrace. But at this point, pretty much the whole town the whole village of Tuneria loves him, because he's constantly helping out other people. He has his own little farm and his own little shack. He'll go and patrol the village, and he'll go into the mountains for certain things, and whenever something comes up, he'll go and help anybody with anything. But that's been a long time coming. He gets letters from Angie, like, oh, Angie's coming home. And so he's like waiting out at the front for like a week, like, oh man, is she going to be back? Is she coming back? Oh my goodness, why am I acting so weird? It's just my daughter. But I haven't seen her in 5 years. And then gets a letter, oh yeah, by the way, a wyvern showed up. No, she's not coming home. It's like, oh, well, she's not dead. Okay, that's fine. Everything's fine. Mm-hmm. Angie goes off, kills the wyvern, comes back. It's like, okay, now I'm going to leave. Goes to get on the carriage. Oh, wait, no, ants are attacking. Please come help us.
Yeah, I think that is one of the problems I have with the beginning of the story. It feels very... We're just trying to come up with things to keep her home. Like the wyvern, the ants, and a few other things. Like
excuses?
Seems like... It didn't go on for long, so if it went on for longer, I'd kind of be like, oh, this is kind of weird, but it went on long enough where you start to notice, like, it just seems that she's never going to get there, and that can't be the whole point of this whole series, that she never gets home.
So, there are two things on that, and I agree with you entirely, and I think you're right. There are two things that I know about the series that you wouldn't know just from reading what we're going to talk about today, and there's also something I think about it, where, like, the wyvern, the battle is, like, barely even a thing. It literally says in the book, she gets there and just instantly decapitates it. Like, there's no fight. And the ants is just 2 pages of her going, like, sicko mode and just obliterating everything from the perspective of the queen of the ants. And like, oh god, we're all gonna die. But another thing so having read the whole thing and having read all the supplemental stuff that comes with all the books, the author talks about in one of the later books that the story was originally just, hey, imagine there was an adventurer who wanted to go home to see her family, and just stuff kept coming up. And that was just the whole plot of the book as he was writing it. for most of this book. That does go away, and it becomes a much more interesting plot, but it's very much a contrivance for this first half of the book. It gets explained.
Yes.
There's reasons for it, but it's kind of just like, it happens. So...
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and there's some interesting stories where she gets delayed for other reasons. With especially the carriages, where it's like, oh, I gotta...
Yeah, the next big one being, like, she actually is like, okay, I'm going on vacation. And like, okay, we can't stop you. She gets in the carriage. Nobody stops her. She gets all the way to the last section before she'll get to Tunaria. And bandits attack.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And she's like, I don't care, you stupid bandits. Shut up and go away. I want to go see my dad. And then... a woman screams, and it's like, oh crap, they have a prisoner. Okay, and so she goes and she kills the bandits and rescues the girl. And hey, the girl is a noblewoman named Saren, whose father is dying. And she's like, okay, person on the carriage, I'll pay you everything it's costing you. Turn around and take this girl back home. Let's go. I'll go visit my dad next time. And this is also where one of my favorite characters shows up, which is the peddler who owns this carriage. I don't know how
Yes.
she's represented in the comic, but in the book, it's the blue-haired peddler. She keeps showing up the entire series. She's never named. The author even says, like, I kept thinking maybe I should give her a name and just decided not to. But she, like, shows up in almost every book somewhere. It's like, where's Waldo but the blue-haired peddler?
Okay, yeah.
And this is just her first instance. And it's just like, oh, yeah, she just becomes a character.
Yeah, because in the manga, she's not... She shows up a lot, but I don't think they introduce her as the blue-haired person, because... there's no color, and the colors are represented for other characters. Yeah, she shows up a lot.
Yeah.
I don't think I knew she was blue-haired until I saw some other pictures.
Yeah. I think in the novel, that's just the single thing that they say to give her a description. And I'm assuming for her in the manga, it's just like, she has this appearance. And it's just the way that she looks.
Yep.
But she just keeps showing up for no reason all the time. And will never be named. Will never be like a major character, but just randomly appears all over the place every time. It's a very cute thing about this story. And
yeah, because she shows up. They give one explanation where she shows up because when they saved the royal from the bandits,
yeah,
she got almost like a discount for being a merchant now, so she shows up more often because, hey, I don't have to pay as much to move things back and forth through here, so yeah, I'm going to show up a lot.
Yeah, and that's her. So we have the blue-haired peddler. We have Saren, the 15-year-old daughter of the nobleman, the Lord of Bordeaux, which is a smaller... like feudal area that includes Tunaria, but Tunaria is like the back end out of the way village as far on the edge of their land as well. Like it's part of them. They know it exists, but it's Bordeaux is like 5 days carriage from Orphen, and then Tunaria is another 2.5 days from there, way out in the middle of nowhere. But they're now just exchanging letters, explaining what's happening. Belgrieve, while this is happening, Belgrieve has been helping out around the town, showing the kids of the town more of the stuff about the mountain, and fiends are starting to show up in Tunaria, and at this point, there's the lumberjacks are like, there's something out there, and so he straps on all his gear, gets his peg leg on, because, like we said, he lost his leg, gets his sword ready, gets all of his stuff, goes out, and there's a pretty sizable battle against a bunch of, they're called greyhounds, just feral dogs, and then an ice hound. And he was an E ranker, but he sure isn't anymore. He's not special in that he has anything unique. He's just trained for a long time, and
yeah, he's just very strong.
Fairly strong. And is well trained and has a sort of dispassionate sense of self-preservation that will carry him through a lot. And he's lived in the same town for 20 years now and has just been wandering around, so he knows everything about the mountains.
So you said there's a fight with a bunch of hounds in the light novel?
Yes.
That is not in the book, in the manga. So in the manga...
I can understand that.
He is taking a bunch of the kids for a walk through the woods, and a hound attacks them, and then he slips and falls in the water.
Yep, that's part of the book. And then...
But there's no big battle with hounds.
The next big part of the story with him in the light novel, because it'll jump back to Angie and then it'll come back to him. His next big scene in the book is him, hey, there are hounds around where the lumberjacks are working, and he goes, and then a bunch of them attack him again.
Yep, that's completely skipped in the manga.
It has a point. It's, hey, there's fiends even showing up here, which has a reason, which they're going to get to at the end, but yeah, it's not that important. It gives you a better sense of him being able to fight, but...
Yeah, because next it skips to him meeting one of the other sisters, the second daughter of Count of Bordeaux.
Yep.
And then she wants him, I'm here to thank you for rescuing the other daughter. Here's some money, which he doesn't really want to accept. But then she also says, I want to see how good you are. And he beats... So she is a double A rank, I believe.
Yes.
Her name is...
Sasha,
yep. So then he defeats her, and that's when you learn that he was a E rank. He never got higher than an E rank. And she wants him to train him because she's so touched by his story. It's like, tree, please. And he's like, okay. And is very confused about the whole situation. He's like, I don't know what's going on. And it's funny, just him interacting with her.
He's literally trying, and I don't know how much it comes over in the manga, but in the light novel, he's like, I know, I'll tell her that I was an E rank and I'm only ever an E rank, and then she'll be like, okay, yeah. And she's like, oh, you're so amazing, you were only that, and yet you've continued to train and been so humble and never asked for anything else. You're even more the kind of person I want to be my master. It's like, oh, crap. I want you to go away.
Yeah, he doesn't try to say that he's an E rank to make her go away. He just says, I was an E rank. He's like, oh, she's so touched. And yeah.
It's not really that he wants her to go away. He's just like, why would you want to train with me? I'm nothing. Here, let me explain why. Like, I'm not the kind of person. Obviously, when you hear that I've never accomplished anything, and she's like, you've never accomplished anything because you're so humble.
Yeah, and he keeps trying to say something.
That's going to be a running theme with Sasha.
She keeps interrupting him or saying something. It's like, wait. It's like, and then she's just huge paragraphs of more text, and then she's like, I don't know what just happened.
Yep, that's going to be pretty much every interaction with Sasha. That's how it will go.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know how well the manga does it, but the book does a good job of, like you said, he's an E rank, she's double A. And he wins. He actually wins the fight. But he wins because he's a guy, he's bigger, he's physically stronger, and so he just goes on the defensive, and just every time she attacks, he just blocks it and just wears her down. And also, being on a peg leg and fighting very defensively, he can just endure her, and just he fights weird because he doesn't move the way people expect you to move because he has a peg leg, and he doesn't win by a lot. He's just barely able to win, but he can just exhaust her, and that is probably the best explanation you'll get for why Bell is the way he is for this whole section of the story. And the kind of person that Bell is forever. He is not flashy. I'm gonna survive. And I'm just going to outlast things and figure out a way to take what I have and defeat an opponent.
So that's not what I got from reading the fight in the manga. It's very much he seems to win by just being better than her. Not about being more enduring. The fight's only maybe 2 pages. And she kind of explains a little more later when she's talking to Angeline about it. But for the most part, you can't tell that that's the kind of fighter he is. He just seems to win because he's better. Not because of his peg leg or anything like that. It's just...
Let's just cover the second Sasha fight, too, at this point. Because they have a second duel later. And I I think the light novel probably, again, explains it better. But this first one, Sasha is good, but not amazing. And so Bell, even though he's E-rank, he's practiced for another 20 years. So he has a lot of training, and he taught Angie. So he's done a lot of swords training over the years. So he's much better than he used to be. In the book, it's like he wins. It's close, but he does pull it out. They have a second duel later, and it's been like 3 or 4 months. And Sasha will wipe the floor with him. Except she disarms him, and he just panics, grabs her by the wrist, and just like twists her wrist to force her to drop her sword too. And it's like, oh crap, sorry, I didn't mean to do that. It was force of habit. But he should have lost, but caught her by surprise, switching to hand, and won. How does the manga translate on that?
That is not in the book at all.
Really?
The whole second fight is not even in this book.
There's no second fight. Oh, okay.
Yeah, that is not... I have no idea what you're talking about. That is not in the manga.
Okay. Yeah, where does that come up? It's just before Angeline gets home. It's like just before... It's at the end of the book.
So that is... Yeah, they meet each other again at the festival because the third sister shows up. Oh, Sasha's
at the festival.
I think
really?
So.
Sasha's at the festival.
I might be mixing it up with the other
Serenades.
daughter. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, okay. So like, yes. Yeah.
They talk about her, yeah.
So there's 3 daughters of the Count. Yes. They all look very similar. But yes.
Yeah, I can believe that.
Except one has glasses. They all wear slightly different clothes, but if you don't see them next to each other, they all have very similar names too. So it's like, okay.
Seren and Sasha, yeah.
But then the third...
Helvetica's different. I'm guessing she's also the one with the glasses.
That is true.
No, she's not the one with the glasses.
No, that's the youngest one is the one with the glasses.
Yeah, Seren, the youngest.
So then, yeah. So there's, as we've said, there's 3 daughters. Helvetica is the third one. I believe she's the one who's going to take charge of...
She has taken charge, yes.
Yeah.
She's now the head of House Bordeaux, because by the time Helvetica shows up, it's been a couple of months since saving Saren and all of that, and their father passed away. So now she's the new lord of House Bordeaux.
Yeah. She is very much a person who wants to get what she wants. Not in a, I am a brat kind of way. She's more like, I found something that's really good, so I want to keep it. And she tries to recruit Belgrave, and he's like, no, I'm going to stay here. And she doesn't take no for an answer and sicks all the guards on him. And it turns into just a giant game of tag with the guards, and he's just running around them like crazy, and they all... Yeah, it's a very funny scenes
I'm so glad that's
him running through the town. And compared to him, they're all big wimps, and
Okay, good. I'm glad that's in there, because that's such a great scene. I'm just like, yep, well, I'm not going with you. And she's like, okay, like snaps her, and just a bunch of guards show up and it's like, grab him. And he's like, time to run. He's just running around the town.
And then the younger sister shows up and tells the sister, you need to stop this. And puts her in the carriage.
Because in the book, it's like, okay, he's escaped all the guards. It's been about an hour. And then Helvetica just goes over and grabs him by the arm and is just like, okay, well, then you can marry me. Smile. And then at that moment is when Sarah and the younger sister comes out and just bops her on the head and tells the other guards, shove her in the carriage and lock the door. And they're like, okay, put her in the carriage and
so the door. That does happen in the manga, when she shows up. It's like, you could just marry me. And he's like, the big, like, scared eyes. He's like, what? And then it's a funny scene of, you could stay, but... Because they're having a big festival at the time. They're like a harvest festival. It's like, hey, we're going to celebrate the new year.
The autumn festival.
And then Helvetica's like, can I come out? Because they're like, you can't come out of the carriage because they locked her in. And Belgrave was like, you can stay, but you have to let your sister out. And she's like over there giving the sad puppy dog eyes from inside the carriage. It's like, fine. And so then they have fun with the town. And it's a really cool story.
Yeah. I think that's a lot, especially in this one, a lot of the stuff with Belgrave in this is more of just him finding out about stuff that Angie's doing and, hey, we're at the town, or we're at the village, like just watching village life go by. Nothing really big happening. And that's actually most of what Belle does in this. Other than, does it have the, does the manga have the scene with Lady Winter?
Yes, it does have the scene with Lady Winter.
Okay.
And you learn about him saving, not, well, saving isn't the right word, him protecting Angeline in the past when Lady Winter shows up, and he thought that she was an ice queen, not Lady Winter. So Lady Winter is, think of it, the personification of winter as a spirit.
Yep.
Because there's fiends and things like that. But the Ice Queen is a fiend who is just a woman out of ice. And that's why he was confused and said, you gotta run away, and was going to defend Angeline from the Ice Queen, but she wasn't an Ice Queen. And so they meet again, and she tells him that there's something going on. In the present, yeah. They meet again in the present. Yeah. Because so much time has passed since the beginning of the story that it's now winter, so everything's been cut off. So he's still waiting for Angeline to show up, but it's wintertime now, so no one can get anywhere. So he's out just patrolling and meets Lady Winter. She says there's something going on, but she won't elaborate any more than that. And it's kind of like, something's happening, you gotta be careful. But it's also one of those, she's a spirit, so her concept of how we perceive the world is different, because she also talks about, didn't we just meet the other day? It's like, that was like 10 years ago. It's like, what's a year?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay. It's like, well, I can't say passing with the seasons because you're always in winter. So, a while.
Wow.
But yeah.
Where's your little one? It's like, oh, she's gone up, she's left, she lives somewhere else now. It's like, wow, you guys change a lot. It's like,
it's like, you're always so busy. Always doing stuff. But one of the things we haven't touched on yet is the idea of the guild and all of these crazy monsters that keep showing up. And the guild master, because early on, Angeline and the guild master have a big fight because she's sick of doing all of these requests that keep getting in the way of her seeing her father, and she has a big blow up at the guild. And the guildmaster's like, all right, I'll take care of it. But then it's like, but there's more things that we need help with. So she's going off and on. And then eventually you get to the point near the end of the book where it's like, all right, the guildmaster comes in. I've figured out what's going on. And I've hired more people to help us. And she's like, what? I thought you didn't care. You know, it's not like you didn't care. It's like, I thought you were doing other stuff. But apparently he's been going out and trying to figure this out, because he didn't want to send anyone else to do it, because they've been in such a peaceful world recently that no one wants to pay as much as they used to. So thus, he had to go and do it kind of for free himself and kind of track down what's going on.
Yeah. There's more to it than that, and it's like, I know you're summarizing it, and I'm sure the manga summarizes it compared to the book. And even just having reread the book, there's a lot that they talk about, but it's not really saying a lot. But basically, it isn't just, oh, there are a couple more monsters. There's lots more fiends all of a sudden, and everyone's getting sick of it, and that's what keeping Angie from going home, and just they've been busy all the time. Like you said, like, she gets mad at him, and he's like, okay, I'll figure something out. And then you find out later that that is a thing that has been happening, but the old guild system kind of doesn't work if people just decide not. There's a whole bunch of stuff that's going on where if he needs something, he has to send messages to someone in the capital, and then the capital people are kind of, they're not really worried about what's going on. They're more worried about their finances, so they won't send him anything. And all this other stuff is going on. And one of the big things at the end of this is some of the other former adventurers who come back are going to, like, rebuild the whole guild system. And that's, I guess, interesting. It's a thing that happens in the story, and it matters, and the changes in what's going on in Orphen and with the guild do come up in later stories. Not in anything major, but this is one of the catalysts for a lot of what happens in the rest of the series. Mostly, it sets up book 2 of the light novel and I'm assuming the next couple manga volumes, which is they restructure the guild and deal with the problem that's going on right now. And so Angeline can go take a huge vacation and spends a ton of time at home. And that's what almost the entirety of the next book is them going back home to Tunaria and just being there.
Yeah, the manga doesn't go into huge detail about complete restructuring. They talk about it quickly. It's like, okay, we're going to do some updates, we're going to do some committee things, we're going to try to fix it to make sure that this kind of all being dumped on the S-Reich adventurers doesn't happen anymore. And some of the fun... So one of the things they also do right now is to try to deal with this threat is they hire a bunch of retired S-Rank adventurers to help out because they're like, this is a big threat and we need their help. So they hire two really funny characters. There's Muscle General and Old Man Silver.
Sheborg the Destroyer, Dortos the Silverhead. Yes. Yeah. Also called Muscle General and Old Man Silver. Yeah. And there's a bunch of other ones who show up. The other one who actually matters in terms of the story as a whole is Maria the Witch. Yep. Who also shows up. A bunch of old adventurers come back, and what they found is actually going on is the reason there's all these Calamity class fiends and all these other things going on is there's this area that just seems to be pumping out fiends, and they found it, and so they go to fight it. And before we talk about it, hey, random thing a couple of chapters ago, they talked about Solomon and his 72 demons, because Solomon made a bunch of homunculus, and then when he disappeared, all of those homunculus went insane and became demons, and they all got sealed away. And hey, this cult maybe exists that wants to bring them back, but that probably has nothing to do with any. That's what one of the demons just puts in the dungeon that's causing all this. No, obvious foreshadowing is exactly what's happening, and so that's the last big adventure part of it. Muscle General, Sheborg, Old Man Silver, Dortos, and a bunch of other unnamed adventurers and all the current adventurers all go to this old E-rank dungeon that's just spitting out monsters. They blow the top off of the hill that it's in. Sheborg is just like punches it and the hill's gone. It's like, why did you do that? It's like, it's fun. And they go into this dungeon and hey, guess what? There's a bunch of powerful monsters and they defeat them all and they get to the end. And there's a demon, and it's just this weird black human mass that nothing really works on. Shockingly, Angeline kills it, and the adventurers win, although Angeline kind of gets not like permanently injured, scarred forever, but like, ow, I got hurt, I'm going to be out for a couple of weeks. But there's a big battle, they win, yay, time to get your vacation. Okay, goes back home.
Yep.
And
so the manga ends when she gets home and brings her two friends with her. Yeah. And she meets another one of the Bordeaux sisters who's training him. And yeah, it ends with a nice scene of the two of them saying, welcome home, and I'm home, and hugging. And that's kind of the end, which is really good.
Yeah. The book...
So is that where the light novel ends?
Does pretty much the exact same thing. That's how it ends. Yeah, after that, you get the second fight. Belgrieve is training Sasha, the middle sister, again. And that's where she's gotten way better in this amount of time and is absolutely going to defeat him. But when she knocks his sword away, instead of bringing the sword to his throat and being like, I won, she's like, yeah, I did it. But Belle is like, still in fighting mode and just grabs her by the hand and just like twists her arm and like basically does like a takedown. And it's like, I should not do that to the middle sister of the nobles who own my village. She's like, oh my god, thank you so much. You've taught me an incredible lesson of how I can't be distracted by my own victories. You're the greatest swordsman teacher ever. But I was like, no, stop saying that. But then it's Angeline, Miriam, and Anessa. Angeline's two partners, they come on vacation with her to Tunaria. They run into Sasha on the way back. There's a funny scene with them, and then they get home, and Angeline and Belgrieve meet at the door, and it's like, welcome home, I'm home, welcome home, end of story.
Yeah, okay.
Then there's the side stories, but they're good. I have a penchant for disliking side stories. Side stories in this are good because it's almost always as a novel about growing up and family and people, like side stories about random things that happened when one of them was a child kind of makes sense in this series as a thing to exist, but they're not important. So we're gonna that's the end. Finished.
Yeah. So overall, the story-wise, I really like it. Mm-hmm. The setting, I wasn't sold on it until the demon stuff started coming up because it felt very generic as a fantasy world itself until they explained about Solomon and the demons, and you get hints that they're out there doing something. Without that, I don't think you could really tell what world this was in by everything else that's going on. It felt like, okay, this is a fantasy world. It's like any other fantasy world.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It's like any other Adventurers Guild fantasy world.
Yeah.
There is a specificity to certain things, like Solomon and the demons. Shocking news, that's going to be a thing in this story when actual, like, long-term plot happens. That will have something to do with it. I bet you couldn't see that coming.
So in the manga, there's hints that someone was controlling things.
Yeah, oh yes. Yeah, the guy in the white cloak who you don't see his face and who monologues mysteriously and menacingly in the corner. Yes. Mm-hmm. You don't get any extra explanation for that.
And in the manga, the scene after that is when she meets Sasha on the road, and she also has her hood up, so it makes it look like it's the same person, but...
Oh. Yeah, that's probably just a visual gag for the comic.
I think so. Yeah.
Not ever in any way suggested in this. Because they do tell you, like, I think they tell you that it's a man. Mysteriously hooded man. Yeah, it will be important later. I definitely agree. The world is very generic for a while. Mm-hmm. And the world is, I think what makes this good, though, and is the characters are not. The characters are all very distinct. If you see like 2 sentences spoken by Angeline, you can tell that it's her. You can tell if it's Sasha. You can tell if it's Miriam. You can tell if it's Belgrave. You can tell the characters from just how they talk or what they do. They're all very distinct. And the places themselves, Tunaria, Orphen, they're not quite as... Because it's like one's a tiny village and one's a city. But they're given time to be and to talk about and to just show them going through the seasons, where the world as a whole is not very distinctive. It's kind of just there. But the people and the day-to-day places they're in are, and really sort of feel a lot more there than other stories have done, where it's just like, oh yeah, they're in this city and this city has stuff. It's like, no, Orphen is this. It does these things. These are the businesses that happen here. Genaria is this. It's this season. This is what they're doing. These are the animals that are here. This is the things you can see. Mm-hmm. And the characters especially are incredibly easy to sort of wrap your mind around and are done very well. But the world itself is pretty light at this point.
Yeah, and for the art style, it's very much... It's good. Mm-hmm. It's definitely gets the ideas across. The fights are dynamic. The characters are all unique. You can tell each character apart. They're not always... Like, Angeline, I think, is probably out of all the characters on the more boring side, because she is very much just a person who has black hair, a regular generic face, and regular clothes, where Belgrave, Miriam, Anessa, and the sisters, while the sisters all can be very similar looking, you can tell that they're the 3 sisters, but Angeline is very much the very stoic looking fighter person.
Yeah.
And there's not a whole lot unique about her just by looking at her, where Belgrave is very much You don't see a kind of character like that in many other stories because he's on the older side. He has a beard. He's very much he's missing a leg. So that kind of sets him apart from other stories. But I don't think there's enough that sets Angeline apart from other characters and other stories, except they are able to portray a lot of her emotions in the artwork really well. They express her frustrations. She makes a ton of funny faces just to try to do all kinds of things. Like she's stressed. She likes to make and talk about her dad constantly and has bright eyes when she wants to do that. And it's really funny. But if you just look at her generic character design, it's kind of plain, which may be what they're trying to get across, is she's more like just a plain character who also just really wants and is really strong.
Yes, I agree with a lot of the things you say. I haven't read it, but I've looked through the covers. I've looked through some of the sample pages. She herself is not very distinctive, I think, to us. In the world, as they talk about her, she herself is very distinct in a way, because there's not almost nobody who has black hair. There's almost nobody who has black eyes, which is going to be a thing that they constantly bring up. But us as readers is kind of just like, oh, she's just kind of ordinary looking. And I do see that in the manga, where it's like, yeah, Belgrieve is more interesting to look at because he's a more unique character compared to what we normally see. And I guess the light novel then has a much better advantage of literally everyone describes her as having black hair and that being weird. And it's like everyone else is something different. And it's just like, yep, she's the only person who has this. She's the only person who has that. And
yeah, okay. That does not come across in the manga then, that people think her hair is weird. They just call her the black-haired Valkyrie. But
yeah,
they don't say that having black hair is unusual.
It's less that it's weird and more of just like it is very, very rare.
Okay.
Other than if you're from of course, I mean, it's not an isekai, but the isekai Japan, the Eastern region, they do bring that up, and like that's kind of the thing they sort of mention on it. But it is a thing that's brought up as that's very distinct. That's one of the things that Bell notices when he finds her as an infant, is like she has black hair. That's weird. Nobody has black hair around here. I do think the art from the novels is very good. There's very little of it. There's a lot less of it than there is in some of the other things. Although for like the big color arts, they're not quite as good. But the in-chapter artwork is quite nice. They tend to be more dramatic shots, but they sell the image really well. And the artist for the novels, Toy 8, is apparently very good and has done a bunch of like really popular stuff. So, and his art is very good. It's manga style with that extra bit of stylizing that really makes it stand out. I think it's better art than the manga, but I agree with you from what little I've seen that the art of the manga, Angeline, is just so expressive.
Yes.
It really gives you something special.
Yeah. No, the art's good. I like it. It's a little... I wasn't sure at the beginning when I started reading it if I would like it as much, but no, it's really good. It really tells the story really well.
Okay. Good.
Yeah. And in the first volume, there is a side story, but there isn't one in the second.
Okay.
Like at the end.
Yeah, the little bonus chapter type thing.
But what they do in the manga is that they add in, here's a character, and here's some designs we were thinking of doing. Like, here's the design we wanted, and then some other poses. Like, okay, just to kind of add more to the story, like more to the book. It's like, here's the character, here's some design things we were thinking about, and it gives a little blurb from the author of the original story, like how they thought about the design that the manga artist came up with. And it's interesting, because it goes through most of the main characters in the first two books.
Nice. Beyond that, I said this at the beginning, and I'm going to say it again, and I'm going to keep saying it, and I'm going to say it for a long time. I do really, really like this series, and I'm annoyed at how many times it's ended up being like, yeah, but you just got to read the next one. The next one's when it gets really good, bro. Like, trust me, book 3 is going to get amazing. I don't really think that about this story. I think this first volume, or these first two volumes, is a really good story. It's just, it's not a really dramatic story. It has its flaws, but it just sort of is there and is enjoyable and is fun. And there's interesting things that happen. And sometimes reading it's like, oh man, they're talking about how they do farming. And it's like, actually, this is kind of fun and interesting to watch Belle and the other farmers talk about what they should do. And then there's these very small little snippets and bits of life that all are part of this whole, but individually they're just these short little pieces that exist, leading the kids to the mountains, and then the greyhound appears and Belle fights them off and then falls in the river. Like, that's a whole little self-contained story. It's trying to show you something about Belle. It's trying to show you something about the way this world is, but it's also just like this short section that comes, happens, ends, and the details itself really aren't that important. It's just a little story. And this first book is made up a lot of these little stories that ultimately end up in that last third where everything sort of comes together. And I think that's probably the best way to summarize what this book is.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Even though that's not where this series will end up.
Okay.
This first book is the most of stuff is just kind of happening, and it will all come together in the end, and like, oh, okay, I see why they showed us this, so that when we got to here, we can believe why this would happen. Or, oh, this thing was happening in the beginning, here's the final explanation, here's them now fixing it. I think it's from here, it will still have a lot of these small moments, but it will start working down along a more narrative path of this is what the story is going to be about, this is what's going to happen, and that's worth it too. Do you have anything you want to add on this?
Yeah, so as you were saying, this, for the 2 volumes, this feels like if this was the end of the story, that's a decent story. Because it's very much a...
Yes, very much so.
As you progress, it's like the trials of her trying to get home, and the book ends of, I am now home. Great. This is a complete story. If there was more, great. If there wasn't more, that's fine too. So I really like that this feels like if you just read these, you're done. You could be done if you want to.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Which is good, because some stories don't feel like this. Some stories like, okay, and we're going on to do other things. Like, no, her goal was to get home to see her father, and that is what happens, and she does that, and it's really, really touching at the very end. And that could be the end, that you could just stop there and be like, all right, great. Now, it's still light on the world and things like that, but it's a really good little nugget of a story, and I really like that for these 2 volumes.
Yeah. I think simply because of the fact that it's a single book instead of 2 books, the light novel does that even better, where it's like you could just read this first novel and then put it down and never read another book, and it's you basically have a full story here. All of the why, all of the how, all of the what. There's not a lot of depth to the world, and I will say there is more. They do more interesting things with it over time, but you're absolutely right. This first book, you could just read this, get to the end, and be like, okay, that was fun, I'm done. And that, if that's the end, it's like it works as a whole narrative.
Mm-hmm.
That's something I forgot about. That just it does very well.
Yes. So, long story short, I really liked it. The art's good. The story's really good. It has really both funny moments and touching moments. And because it is a complete story, it feels like this was well done. It's cool that there's more. Mm-hmm. And if you liked the first 2 volumes of the manga, I don't see why you can't enjoy the rest of it. So I would highly recommend this.
So the other thing I was going to say is something you talked about earlier on, and I've been thinking about this as we've been talking about this. You had said we were talking about, I think it was Quiet Blacksmith Life, and it was like, well, is this the kind of story you would say like, hey, you want to get into light novels, you want to read them? Is this something that easy to read, nice, simple, you can get into, enjoy, and get through? And I'm like, not really. I think this first book, or these first 2 manga, this is a much better one. It's not perfect, and there's obviously more that's coming, and I think the more that's coming makes it become a very good series. But this first book is probably one of the easiest to get into. And it's also not just a standard, oh, go off on an adventure, fight a bunch of bad guys, win, profit, the end. It's, hey, it's a father who hasn't seen his daughter for a while, and his daughter who's trying to get back and trying to get away from all of the things that have come from being successful. And that as a fantasy novel that's got all the current standard Japanese tropes for light novels and medieval fantasy and adventure fantasy in a not too heavy, not too complicated, but still well-written series. I think this kind of works like that. And if you get it and you read to the end, and you'll probably enjoy it. And even if you don't, you can stop here and still have like that contained story.
Yeah, I totally agree.
For a here's your best intro. Having thought about it for the 37 minutes since the question came up. But I will also say, as I've said before, and I'll say one more time, it gets so much better. I've said, like, there is a change in sort of books 2, book 3, book 4. It's Angie going off and doing something, and Belle in Tunaria, except for most of book 2 where Angie's also there. But there's a lot of that. But then from book 5 onward, there is a change, and they all go off somewhere, and there's an adventure, and there's stuff that's going on. It doesn't change its tone. It doesn't change the whole sense of who Belle is and things, but it goes off onto this other greater adventure as time goes on. But there is more to this world and this story, and I do honestly truly think it's worth it too. This is just the beginning of something. You don't have to be interested in that. You can get to the end of this and be done. But if you do like it, it's gonna keep getting better. Like I said, this is one of my favorites from last year, and it's absolutely fantastic.
Nice. Yeah, I think it's a blast. It's a lot of fun.
Good. I'm really glad that you enjoyed it, and I'm glad that the manga turned out so well, because I adore these light novels. This is great. This is one I'm going to probably reread again at some point. Even if not for the show, I probably would reread it a couple more times, because it's just fun.
Yeah, because so far there are 8 manga out now. I don't remember.
Yes.
Is there 11 light novels?
There are 11 light novels, and then it's a collection of short stories that were available as bonus stories if you bought it at certain places. They collected them all into a single book. A bunch of other stuff.
Okay.
But there's 11 novels, and it brings the entire story to a conclusion. There's no cliffhanger ending. Like, everything's brought together at the end. It's real good. And it's all out available in English, so if you want to get it, you can get all of it.
Very cool. Definitely check it out.
But with that is going to be the end of this episode of the Mudai Manga Book Club podcast. Thank you once again for listening. If you'd like to listen to us in any place that you're not currently listening to us because you want to listen to more of us, you can find those places by following us on Blue Sky at Mudai Manga Book Club, where we'll announce when new episodes go live on Podbean and other podcasting apps under Mudai Manga and Book Club, or on our YouTube channel at Mudai Manga Book Club. Please like, share, subscribe, thumbs up, notification bell, and the happy button if that's what they're. I don't know. I don't know how podcasting things do ratings other than iTunes does 5 stars or something. Do all the nice stuff so that other people find out that you think the show is nice. If you think it's nice. If you want to do it even if you don't think the show is nice, we'd appreciate that, but you don't have to. But if you do think it's nice, please do the things that make people know that you think it's nice so that other people maybe will listen to it, because that helps us out a lot. And if you have any questions, comments, concerns, suggestions, or you just want to rant at us about something, feel free to leave a comment in any of those places, or you can email us directly at mudaimangabookclub@gmail.com. With that, that's going to be the end of the episode. Louie, do you have something that you'd like to recommend for our final recommending for the week?
Yeah, so if you're really into Final Fantasy, like all of the Final Fantasies, 1, 2, 3, 5, 7, 8, 12, whatever, and you haven't heard, which I would be surprised if you haven't, Magic the Gathering, the card game, did a new set featuring Final Fantasy, and it's really cool. I opened a play box of it. Mm-hmm. It's so cool because you look at the cards, like, I remember what this one is, and I remember what game it is, and then you flip to the next card, it's like, I remember what this one is. And there's just, the art's amazing, there's so many cool scenes from all the different games, like, and you're like, oh, wait, that's this game? I thought this was the other game. It's like, oh, wait, yeah, this character is in 13, this one's in 10, but then there's all really funny scenes, like, oh, like the suplex scene from, I believe it's Final Fantasy 6. They have a card for that, which is really funny.
Where he suplexes the train.
Yeah. I haven't gotten any of the date from Final Fantasy 7 on the Ferris wheel, but I've seen the cards and they are really funny, especially the one with Barrett.
Oh, God.
And then they also have, because you get a pack of cards, and I forget how many it has, but it has also an extra card typically, and some of them are like full arts of characters or scenes or special tokens, and it's like, if you're into Final Fantasy at all, and you don't even have to play it. I don't play Magic the Gathering that much at all anymore, but there's just so many call-outs and flavor text. It's like, everything is just like another piece of history from Final Fantasy, and it's really cool. So I really liked opening that, and now I have a ton of cards, and I'm slowly putting them in a binder so I can have them all, but there are so many Magic cards in each set. It's crazy.
I have also gotten some of that. I have problems with it, mostly in terms of price, and I'm not a huge Magic the Gathering game fan anymore, but as something to collect because you love Final Fantasy and the art and the theming of that, there is a ton of incredible stuff about it. It's very expensive, but as someone who also just got some, like, I'm just going to get one of the decks because it's like, I love Final Fantasy 6. I'm going to get that deck because that's the one that spoke to me. And there's so many cards in it that just have so many ridiculous moments and small moments and big moments and other things like that. It is incredible as a person who likes Final Fantasy to see all of these cards. And I think that's something it does extremely well.
Yeah.
In terms of how good it is as a thing to exist with Magic the Gathering, I think there's problems that a lot of people have already talked about. But as I don't care about that. I like my fantasies final, and I want the pretty art pictures.
Yes.
And I'm not trying to collect everything and therefore need $12 bajillion to buy everything.
Yeah.
It's amazing, and I love it for that. And
yeah.
I think that's great.
Yes. Opening booster boxes is not an economical way to collect these at all. It's fun to do it once, but I don't suggest doing it more than once unless you have a lot of money to just spend. And even now, they're still stupid expensive for what they normally go for. But it's still fun.
And they went up in price for this set.
Yes. But you can buy a lot of singles online. Like, if you want to collect certain cards. It's like, I only want the Final Fantasy 7 ones because I love Final Fantasy 7. Great. You can just go and buy all the Final Fantasy 7 ones. If you want every Sid from every game, you can do all that because they are all in there. I only got one of them from Final Fantasy 10 in, I think, 30 packs that I opened. But there's like full art cards, there's crazy foil cards, there's some really rare ones.
Yeah.
But the same cards exist in not rare versions. So if you just want the card, just because you like this Cloud from Final Fantasy 7, you don't need the special foil. You can get the full art one, and it still looks exactly the same, except it's not foil. And they're still really cool.
Yeah.
So if you like Final Fantasy 7, or not just Final Fantasy 7, all Final Fantasies, the Magic the Gathering set is really fun to just look at and say, I remember all these and those. I believe it goes up through 16. There is 16 in it. Yeah, Final Fantasy 16.
Does. There is some of 16 in it. Yep.
It's 1 to 16. Yeah, it's fun.
If you want a slightly more reasonable way to get a lot of them, this is what I've been doing and I might continue to do, although I don't know how many I'll get. They have pre-constructed decks based on the games. Like I said, I got the one for Final Fantasy VI. Mm-hmm. And because they're commander decks, one of the rules of commander for Magic the Gathering, this is not super important, but basically you cannot have more than one of any single card. So the decks are 100 cards. About 30 of them are your land resources, but that still means you're getting like 60 or 70 cards for that game. And so there's all kinds of characters, all kinds of art, all kinds of different events and things. And at least from the one that I have, I don't know if this is true for all of them, but for the Final Fantasy VI one, everything is Final Fantasy VI. There's no Final Fantasy VII. There's no Final Fantasy X. It's just Final Fantasy VI. Every non-basic land, every creature, every spell is all Final Fantasy VI art. And it doesn't even have the suplex. It doesn't even have the ghost train.
So there's reason for that.
It's just not even that color. Yeah.
Is that one thing to remember is that there is 2 sets of Final Fantasy cards. There is the regular deck and the commander deck, and I don't believe they share that many cards between the two. So certain cards you can get in commander, but you can't get in the other, and vice versa. Just to remember.
Yeah, but also as someone like me who's like, I'm not going to collect everything, but I just want some of these for the games that I like.
Yes.
Hey, here's 60, 70 unique cards for these 4 games. If those are the games you like, they are still expensive, but you can just get that and know you can get it and have it and just be like, there I go.
Yeah.
I got a bunch of this and I have pretty much every one of my favorite characters shows up.
Mm-hmm. And I believe they have said they're going to spurt this for a couple years. Like the collector ones are done. They're just one and done sets, but the collector ones are just special versions of the generic, more regular versions. And the regular versions of cards they're going to support for a couple years because that's how Magic the Gathering works. So if you don't want to get it now, wait a couple months and there will be restocks and more things like that, and they'll be available again. But yeah, that's it for me.
Very nice. Very cool.
Mm-hmm. What about you?
So for me, this is not me recommending Humble Bundle Choice, their monthly game subscription program, but that just came through. And so I'm going to recommend one of the games I got from that, which is very unique, called Little Gator Game. This is basically a love letter to Zelda, although it draws a lot of mechanics from the Breath of the Wild era in terms of it's a 3D world, you can climb up anything, and like you swap out equipment and stuff. But you play as a tiny gator who's a kid, and you just run around this island, and there are no actual enemies. There is no danger. There is no nothing. This is a super chill game. All the enemies in the game are cardboard cutouts that people have drawn and put up on the island, and you smash them for craft pieces to make new equipment that doesn't do anything you need to beat the game, but will let you do silly things. Like, one of the things you can craft is make your sword weapon into a wand, and then it has sparkles. Or you can make it into a nunchuck, and it has physics, and so it wobbles around all over the place, going crazy. Or it can be a paintbrush, and when you swing near something, it'll throw colors on it. And then you can slide on your shield, and there's the regular shield, which just is normal, but then there's an inner tube, which makes bouncing on the water easier. And it's all like stuff kids use as toys and play with, and like all the hats are just costumes. This entire adventure is you running around as a kid playing with your friends on this island and trying to convince your big sister to come play with you. But it's this incredibly chill game where you just run around and smack things and explore and have very silly quests. One of the first quests is, go get your sword, by which I mean a stick. You look over past the person who told you to get it, and just in a pile of rocks, there's just a stick jammed in the rocks, like sticking up, like the Excalibur or the Sword in the Stone. And it's like, okay, you walk over, pick it up, come back, it's like, you did it! You did the thing! Yeah! And it's just so charming and fun and entertaining. It is very short. I got to the official end of the game in about 3 or 4 hours. And that was playing with my kids watching and them telling me to do stupid things. And we had so much fun. But it's this very playground type game.
Cool. Yeah, the art style reminds me of Wind Waker.
Yeah, it's like the art style of Wind Waker mixed with the gameplay of Breath of the Wild. Very simplified.
Mm-hmm.
And you do not have to do much to actually finish it, but they've put in the extra effort to make it easy for you to find and do everything. There's an item you get at the end of the game that will let you find all of the other quests. Like, you just use it and it's like, oh, there's your nearest quest. There's another one you get where it's like, hey, find me the nearest enemies I haven't beaten. Some over there, go beat them up. It has a lot of, I just want to like play around and goof off, and it's so much fun. And the best thing is, which I have been saving, is there are special items. One of them is a Nerf blaster. One of them is origami shurikens. But the best is the teddy bear, which when you activate it, turns on ragdoll mode and you just sort of flop over. And it's just like, this is the best. I'm just gonna start running. Oh no, I pressed ragdoll mode and rolled down a hill and fell into the water. And it's like, this is so silly. But it is an absolute blast. It is an incredibly fun little game. If you can get it on sale, it's absolutely worth it. But even still, even though it's a little short, it is an absolute ton of fun. They're working on a DLC for it. I cannot wait for that because it was so much fun. But we don't know when that's coming out. But yeah, little gator game. It is adorable.
Yeah, it looks fun. I'll check it out.
Yeah. But with that, that's going to be the end of the episode. Tune in next week where we will be talking about
Mushoku Tensei, Jobless Reincarnation, Volume 1 of the light novel.
I did it. I convinced him to do a light novel for an episode.
Yes, so we will be doing that. I don't remember how much of the manga is.
Yes. We'll let you know next week when we start. So if you're reading the manga,
Yes.
just read the first 9 books. That should be enough.
That should be fine.
But with that, until next week, when hopefully our audio will not be so horribly desynced because of the internet. Haha, I put it in the episode. Wait, I'm the one who has to edit this. I have to take it back. God damn.
Yeah.
Until then, have a great night,
lag. Goodbye.
Lag. Peace.
What?
Bop. Okay. Did you finish your thought?
Yes.
Okay. I agree with everything. Yeah. Hey, editing problem for me. Future. Yay. Great. Okay, that's enough of a pause to make it editing easy. Are you still there?
I am still here.
Okay. Did you just have Discord just like crash and reopen?
Yep, I did.
Okay.
Did that happen to you?
Yes. In the middle of me saying something. It's like, don't react. Keep talking. Finish your sentence. It's great.
Yeah, this is going to be such a headache.
Making the joke, finishing the joke, and then starting the next thing, and then hearing you then start reacting to the joke. And be like, oh god, I'm going to have to wait here for like 15 seconds.
I don't know why it's so bad. It must be a Discord thing because my internet's fine everywhere else.
It's gotta be. To me, and the thing is, Discord to me is saying like, "Oh no, you're on like 23 millisecond ping. You should be fine."
Yeah, mine keeps spiking high, and then it goes back down, and then high again, and then it goes back down. It's so weird.
Yeah,